everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jupiter James, and this is Astro Motivation, where I awaken the astrologer within you and aim to give you a little inspiration and motivation per your unique placement within your birth chart. You know, I really do feel that before a time of iPhones and iPads and I this and I that, we were a culture and a society that were better able to look up at the stars and understand exactly where our dreams were and how to get them. And so if that sounds good to you, let's go ahead and get into it. Today, I'm excited to go a little bit deeper into my retrograde series, and that would be diving deep into the topic of Venus retrograde in your natal chart. Now, Venus retrograde is a gift, a superpower, but with every gift and superpower, there are weaknesses and there are drawbacks. And so I'm really excited to dive deep with you today around discovering and deciphering what happens when Venus retrograde is in different signs and in different houses of the birth chart. And so how I want you to listen to this audio is I want you to go ahead and definitely tap the sign that your Venus retrograde is in, and tap the timestamp that your house that Venus retrograde is in, and combine those two and synthesize them to come up with the analysis for what you will be experiencing that your Venus retrograde will be in. Okay, so first and foremost, when you have a Venus retrograde in your chart, okay, it means that the usual traits that Venus holds, which is all around like outward charm and harmony and balance and finding that with other people and romance, is going to be something that is a little bit turned inward. You know, it's going to be a bit more introspective about these things, meaning that you experience love and value on a very deep, personal, introspective, and sometimes private level. You know, with this energy of Venus retrograde, you will also be someone that no matter where your Venus retrograde is, you may also be a bit more reflective and reserved and even selective when it comes to your romantic partnerships. And it doesn't stop at your romantic partnerships. It may also bleed into just the people you deal with in general. Okay. And like I said before, this is not a flaw. This is not a curse. If anything, I truly believe it is a superpower, especially once you understand it. So without further ado, I'm hoping that you will go ahead and tap the appropriate timestamps that correlate with the sign and the house that your Venus retrograde in. And let's dive deep to unlock your true gifts when it comes to your particular Venus retrograde. When you have a Venus retrograde in your first house or in the sign of Aries, this is really a personal type of placement. Okay, this energy is going to be something that really influences how you show up in the world and really how you feel about yourself. And this journey is going to revolve around you learning self-love. Okay, there may be already baked in a certain a little bit more self-love than usual, which could make you a little bit more introverted, especially depending on what sign your Venus retrograde is in, if you are coming from someone who has it from the first house perspective. But overall, no matter what it is, you know, this is going to be a journey that revolves around learning to love and accept yourself exactly as you are, so that you can take the actions necessary that are being asked of you in life, you know, towards your goals, towards your dreams, towards your life path. With this energy of Venus retrograde, you may have grown up feeling different or odd or shy or really unsure about how others perceive you, or like your appearance. And this could even happen even if people see you as quite attractive. You know, when people give you compliments or tell you that you're beautiful, you could be quite confused as to what they're seeing. You could be like, huh? Like, because when I look in the mirror, or, you know, when I go out, I don't feel that way. I don't get it, you know? So this is something that, remember, this is a Venus retrograde. So you are really learning to love yourself at a soul level, outside of looks, outside of objective perception when you have a Venus retrograde, okay? This could even lean to you feeling like, or you may question your likability or feel like you have to earn affection. Even when people like you, you may feel like you need to earn it a little bit more. You know, this placement can also really create a quiet type of charm within you with this energy. And this charm that you have, this quiet sense of values and beauty that you have about you, will also get stronger with age, especially once you begin to see your unique beauty in this lifetime and own your presence and own who you are and own your movements in life and own your impulses. Is going to be something that will get better with time. Your likability, your sense of beauty, how others even see you. I mean, people will already see that of you. If you have a Venus in Aries or a Venus in your first house, it doesn't matter if it's retrograde. You know, the retrograde experience is a personal experience. Venus is still out for the world to see when it's in the first house or in Aries. So people are gonna see you as quite beautiful and attractive. It's just about you being someone that is receptive to that and believes that, if that makes sense, because you are going to be someone that with time, as you begin to own your unique beauty and see yourself as someone who is uniquely beautiful and own who you are, it will only expound tenfold with this energy. Okay. So just know that in this lifetime, you are here really to learn love for yourself and your physicality at a soul level. You're here to radiate self-love and redefine beauty and values on your own terms, and it's not going to be things that are based on trends. All right. Retrograde kind of gives that rebellious type of quality. I always say that someone came in and said, oh, the R stands for retrograde. When really, I personally think it's for rebellion, because wherever the retrograde is in your chart, it's going to offer a certain sense of rebellion. And so when it comes to the things that you like or beauty, you may be quite different, okay? Or you may be needing to be someone who owns your different artistic touch, or your different idea of what beauty is, or your different idea of what harmony and balance is. That may be something that you may need to learn to tap into and trust, okay? Because it won't be based on trends. It won't be based on what everyone else thinks is beautiful or what everyone else thinks is harmonious and good in life, all right? And it's going to be based on how you feel, and also how you feel in your own skin. And once you do this, people will really be drawn to your authenticity, and that Venus retrograde will truly shine, okay? So this is what happens when you have Venus retrograde in the first house or in Aries, all right? So let's say you have a Venus retrograde in the sign of Taurus or in the second house. Now, as we know, the second house and Taurus is all around your self-worth. It's around your values. It's around the things that matter to you. And it's around your personal self-confidence is baked into the self-worth aspect, and when you have a Venus retrograde here, this is really going to turn things inwardly a bit. It's going to have you hesitating a little bit more when it comes to those themes. And so when you have a Venus retrograde, it really does show there could be an early struggle around money, your self-esteem, and also your material security. These things could be very, very either hard for you to gain or hard for you to understand early on in life. And it could be situations where when you have a Venus retrograde in Taurus or in the second house, you could undercharge, or even in you undercharging in your personal life, you could be someone that overspends, right? Or you feel uncertain about your financial worth at times. And, but this is going to be something that you must need to rewire and rework within you, because you may give away how valuable you truly are. Okay, because then that is what makes you feel good, when really it's something where you must really reevaluate your self-esteem and what you truly value. And that should be yourself, and how valuable you truly are and what you bring to the table in the world and in life. All right. Because at its highest expression, Venus is at home here in the second house. It's at home in Taurus. So this is something that shows that you have very good money-making potential in life. You are going to be seen as someone that's quite beautiful and attractive, but when it's in retrograde, you may give that away because you don't see that within yourself. Okay. When you have a Venus retrograde in the second house or in Taurus, this is the energy that really teaches you to build well through aligned values and through slow, steady self-trust. Okay. You must trust in the things that you say that matter to you, or the things that you say that are worthy of your time, your attention, your work. Okay. I would say with the Venus retrograde or it being in Taurus, you would do your best when you earn money doing things that make you feel beautiful, or things that you find meaning in, or that are really aligned to your core values, no matter how different they may be, or even things that feel very soul nourishing, not just things that are practical or deemed as good in other people's eyes. When you are aligning what you do with what makes you feel beautiful, and that aligns with your particular values, no matter how different, that's where you are able to make so much money for yourself, as well as charging your work, asking for that raise at work, you being someone that stands in your power and says, hey, I deserve A, B, and C, and not, penny pinching or watering it down when you say that. All right. There's also some financial healing that will need to occur with this energy. Okay. And it's going to come when you stop outsourcing your worth and start honoring your natural talents and your particular taste that you have in life. Like I said, this is going to be that energy where you must trust in what you feel is valuable. All right. What matters to you, not what matters to your mom, not what matters to your friends, not what matters to the world, what matters to you. All right. Because this is quite a karmic placement when it comes to money. All right. Your relationship with money is quite karmic, but you're here to master financial self worth. You really, really are. And with this energy, the measure of your self-worth is going to be a measure of your bank account. Okay. This again goes back to that saying that I say that your self-worth is your net worth with this particular Venus retrograde. Okay. But it really comes down to you being someone that honors what you truly believe in, no matter how different they are, no matter how unique or unconventional it may be. All right. So that is what happens when you have a Venus retrograde in the second house or in Taurus. Okay. Um, One last thing I'll also say is that with this placement, there could also be like a tug of war between materialism and finding your true inner value, right? There's always this like, okay, I value this, but I also at the same time need to make money, right? But wealth is truly going to come when you define success on your own terms, okay? Like even though that job that you have may be shiny, if it's not validating your personal values, then that may not be worth it for you. And that may be something that you will have to reckon with and say, I think I may need to quit that and go into something else that does, fit fit my values. Because in you doing that, you could find yourself in a better situation. Okay. So that was Venus retrograde in Taurus or in the second house. I'm wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance. You take care and be blessed. Okay. Let's say you have Venus retrograde in the third house or in the sign of Gemini. When you have Venus retrograde here, it can really make you feel guarded with your words, okay? Even though you may have a robust wealth of knowledge or beauty or talent within your voice, because Venus is still in the third house after all, right? No matter if it's in retrograde or in bad aspect, Venus is still in the third house or in Gemini, which will give you a gift of communication, of your ability to connect, of your ability to, have a robust intellect or things of that nature. Okay. But when retrograde is here, remember the Venus retrograde turns things inwardly and it makes you hesitate. It makes you doubt that energy at times. And when you have a Venus retrograde here, it makes you guarded in this energy. It makes you guarded with your words, especially around love and affection or the talent that you possess within your words. You may have a beautiful way of expressing yourself, but you second guess your tone, or you worry that you'll be misunderstood, or you may worry that what comes out of your writing is not good enough. All right. And this may be due to early experiences with the siblings or early schooling that you may have had, that may have, made you feel a little self-conscious in this area. Maybe you were told you were dumb or it wasn't good enough or that's not the right answer. And maybe in that particular instance, that was the case, but that wasn't the overall case, if that makes sense. And in that present moment when that happened to you, it made this Venus retrograde like a wound almost. It made it something where now you are forever second guessing yourself or second guessing your intellect or second guessing your opinion or second guess saying what needs to be said, even though what you have to say can be quite beautiful. The tone of your voice, the talent that you have in your voice, the creative gift you have in your opinion or your ability to communicate is there, but you second guess it. All right. You might be the type of person who writes powerful messages, but deletes them right before sending. You could be someone that is always in a refinement process. When you got to send that text message or that email to someone, you're deleting it and rewriting it, right? When really the first message was the most perfect one. You see, the gift here is learning that your voice is valuable, and healing is going to happen when you speak from the heart, even if it's imperfect, even if you stutter, even if you got to do it with your teeth chattering and your knees shaking. Say what needs to be said, because at the end of the day, you still have a Venus in your third house. I don't care if it's retrograde. I don't care what aspect it is in. You still have a Venus in your third house or in Gemini, which shows that you will be well received, but it just requires you to get over your own hump and your own setback that you are placing on yourself. Okay, there's also with this placement of Venus retrograde in Gemini or in the third house that there's a deep potential for you becoming a great writer or teacher or public speaking careers would be very good for you, especially around things that have to do with relationships and balance and healing and emotional intelligence. Okay. Now, Venus retrograde also carries a bit of a karmic element to it. And as we know, the third house is around siblings and the neighborhood and things of that nature. Could be a there could be a big karmic relationship with the siblings and the neighbors. All right. There could be a unresolved dynamics between the siblings and neighbors with this energy, or early kind of karmic energy around early education that affected your confidence, as I just expressed before. But you are here to heal this Venus retrograde and use it to the best of its ability when you don't keep the beautiful things that you have in you inside. Okay. The wealth of knowledge that you have, the wealth of opinion that you have, the gift that you have swirling around in that mind of yours is not just meant for you, it's meant for everyone. And when you share it, I promise you that is where you will be able to ignite this beautiful blessing that you have of Venus retrograde in your chart. Okay. So, without further ado, I am wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance. You take care and be blessed, okay? Bye. Let's say you have Venus retrograde in the sign of Cancer or in the fourth house. All right. As we know, fourth house and Cancerian energy is all to do with your inner emotional world. It's to do with the relationship with the mother and the family and the home in which you grew up in your early childhood development, and the homes you will live in and the lifestyle you will lead in your domestic life as an adult and beyond. Okay. And so when you have a Venus retrograde here, this is going to be quite a karmic type of energy. Okay. Wherever the retrograde is, it gives a karmic energy around, for you specifically, it'll be around your family. It'll be around the relationship with your mother. You know, there will be some karmic wounds around family, mother, and even maternal figures in life. You know, you may have grown up feeling a bit unloved or unseen or emotionally distant from those who raised you, even though you may have grown up in a very materialistically nice home or a materialistically nice situation, right? This may still feel the emotional aspect may have been a bit distant with this energy. And as a result, you may guard your heart while still at the same time creating emotional closeness with this energy of Venus retrograde in Cancer or in the fourth house. All right. I feel like this type of placement really causes for the person. The universe is really asking the person to reparent themselves. You know, you're meant to really kind of in your adult life take the blessing of Venus in your fourth house, because at the end of the day, you do have a Venus in your fourth or a Venus in Cancer, which shows that you will be blessed in life with great homes to live in, a materialistically nice situation domestically to live in. And this is going to be your opportunity to create your own safe space and for you to decorate your apartment and your condo or your home that you live in the way that you need it to be lived in, so that you are able to fill that emotional void that you may have not gotten from your own family or may have not gotten from your own mother with this energy. It really does require you to build new emotional foundations that work for you, that honor your particular unique sensitivity with this energy, okay? Because with this energy, you will be someone who has the potential, and yeah, you will have the potential to be someone that builds a great home for yourself and has a great home. You know, you're someone who will create the love filled home that you may have not received growing up. And that is what is meant for you with this karmic lesson of the Venus retrograde here, but only after the emotional residue of the past is kind of let go. All right. Once you activate this Venus retrograde, you become a source of deep, nurturing beauty and warmth for others. You really do. This is going to be something that, like I said, innately you will always have, to be honest with you, but it's going to be something that you must kind of deliberately put into action for yourself first, if that makes sense. Okay. So that is one of the things that happens when you have a Venus retrograde in Cancer or in the fourth house, is that on one hand, people are going to see you as someone who's, you know, unconditionally loving. They're going to see you as very, you know, motherly in your own right. But when things get too close, you may guard your heart. You may stop it. You may hesitate. You may second guess it, you know, while at the same time really craving it. So this is something you're going to need to learn to kind of reparent yourself first in order to have better relationships with others in a very emotionally vulnerable way. Okay. What else can be seen with this energy of Venus retrograde in Cancer? or in the fourth house. Yeah, I just feel like bare bones, this is going to be the energy of you feeling emotion, like you may feel or struggle with feeling emotionally safe in your relationships, especially romantically or even at home. Okay. And the healing is going to happen when you create a loving inner home first for yourself, an inner emotional world first, and then a happy domestic life for yourself first as well. And I also feel the ultimate healing from this is going to come from you becoming a mother yourself, or becoming a father yourself, or becoming a parent yourself. You know, even if you start with a puppy or a cat or something, you know, something for you to take care of. And then also a lot of healing will come from you finding your own home outside of the family and the outside of the family that you were born in, and you being able to decorate it in the way that you want to, in the way that you know, couldn't have growing up. That is how you're going to really heal this abundant placement of Venus in the fourth, or Venus in Cancer, because it is quite abundant. It just requires you to kind of do a little fine tuning first. Okay, so this is what happens when you have a Venus retrograde in Cancer or in the fourth house. All right, I really do hope that you got something out of that. Let me know in the comments below what your particular experience is when you have a Venus retrograde in Cancer or the fourth house. I would really, really love to know, okay, which one you are and how your experiences have gone down with the mother or with the family, or just in you finding a home that is, you know, you find satisfactory for yourself. But it really does come from you reparenting yourself and filling your own emotional voids first. And then once new love comes in, once new love and relationships come in, you won't guard your heart so fiercely. Okay, moving forward to the fifth house. Okay, let's say you have a fifth house Venus retrograde, okay, in Leo, or the fifth house, okay? And with this energy, you know, Venus retrograde here is going to be very tricky because, as I like to say right off the top of the bat, when you have a Venus in your fifth house or in Leo, you are going to have show stopping qualities. You are going to be someone who is highly, highly creative, highly talented, even, you know, very beautiful, very well regarded with this energy of Venus in Leo. Okay, Venus gets to be on the stage in this energy, and this is where she gets to be appreciated. And so you will have those qualities, but when they're retrograde, you may hide that aspect of you. You know, you may be someone that is so talented behind closed doors, or you would be someone that is probably singing in the mirror with your toothbrush and doing routines, but you don't show it out to the world. You don't let people know just how talented you and creative you are with this energy of Venus retrograde in your Leo or in the fifth house. And this is something that you must learn to work through, okay? Because this could also prevent you from romance. You know, it could prevent you from putting yourself out there on the romantic stage, right? Like, all the world is a show. And that's something that Leo is here to get us to learn. That's what the fifth house is here to get us to learn, is that if you want love and romance, you have to be able to have fun. You have to be able to put on that main character energy and show up and show out, you know? That way you are able to kind of woo the partner in front of you. There's a bit of peacocking that needs to happen, and you can't peacock if you're shy, if that makes sense. And that is what Leo energy is here to teach us, and that is what the fifth house is here to teach us. And when you have a Venus retrograde in this energy, you might feel blocked in romance or unsure how to express yourself because you have a Venus retrograde. You see, you can be quite shy, even though people will see that of you, you would be the only person holding yourself back from showing it, if that makes sense. All right. There may also be, with this Venus retrograde in the fifth house or in Leo, there may also be like past life love stories that may play out in this life that may have been unhealed there, or even in this life, there could be early life, like puppy love romances, or romances that happened earlier in life that may have really made you heartbroken, and that you have kind of unresolved or unhealed, that can create fears around opening up later in life when it really truly matters, you know. But when you heal your inner artist with this energy, when you heal your inner child with this energy, and give yourself permission to play and love and be all that you can be, you become quite magnetic. You become quite show stopping. You know, this is that true energy with this Venus retrograde in your fifth house. All right. It just, you know, with Venus retrograde here, right? With Venus retrograde in Leo or in the fifth house, it can really create hesitation around fully expressing your joyous side or your fun in life or your creativity and even your romantic desires. You may doubt your talents. You may feel unworthy when it comes to romance or pleasure, or you may fear rejection in love. This is a very karmic placement. It really is. And there may also be some, like I said before, some past life connections or intense karmic lessons around love that keep playing out that really are truly there to force you to step into your brilliance, to step into your show-stopping abilities. You know, every problem that you may have with those karmic lovers are going to be asking you to step into your power in this arena. All right. Especially involving unrequited love. You may be someone that gets a lot of unrequited lovers, right? You may be crushing on someone, and then when you finally come out and say you like this person, they may reject you or say, hey, that I don't feel that way. Or you may feel that you may like the person more than they like you. Or there could also be some creative suppression here with this energy, okay? Where you just creatively suppress yourself. You know, you don't want to do art. You don't want to sing. You don't want to create, even though deep down, you know you can be very good at it, okay? But you're here to reclaim your joy and give yourself permission to shine and recognize that your creative gift is a divine gift, not something that you always need to criticize of yourself or second guess of yourself. And so once you heal this energy, again, you become super magnetic. You become super show stopping even more than you already are. All right. You become incredibly playful and you become a beacon of romance and a beacon of artistic fulfillment so that others can be inspired by you as well. Okay. So really do work through this womb because it is quite a superpower. It really is. To have a Venus in Leo is quite an honor. It really is quite an honor. People are going to see you as quite beautiful. People are going to see you as quite artistic, but you must believe it first. Okay. The true magic ignites when you believe it. All right. That's when the real magic shines. Okay. Let's go ahead and move forward. Let's say you have a Venus retrograde in the sixth house or in the sign of Virgo. All right. This is going to be a very intensely karmic type of position because, you know, this placement is going to show that you may have felt unseen or undervalued when it comes to your work or what you do at work or in the service oriented roles that you may have had in life. Or that like love had to be earned or you had to give in order to have love in life. You had to serve someone or you had to overwork yourself or you have to be perfect or you have to self-sacrifice yourself. And this is not so. This is not so when you have a Venus retrograde. You know, you might attract work where you do a lot of behind the scenes work, but don't get all the recognition for it. Okay. And this may also bleed into love, right? In love, you may give your all or give more than you receive, but deep down, you tie your worth to your usefulness, and this is where this comes from because those people may not be asking for you to do half the things that you are asking them to do, you know. But you're here to learn that you're worthy of love simply because you exist, just because of who you are, not because you have to prove it or you have to do this or you have to do that or you have to work yourself to the bone. And this is going to be something that you must learn in life because when you have a Venus in Virgo, you are going to be perfect. A Venus in Virgo, you are perfect. You are someone that does the right thing. You do. Okay. And people are going to see that of you. Your work ethic shines for itself, but you will overdo it. Okay. To where people will say, hey, if they overwork themselves, I don't have to give them more money. I don't have, they're going to do it anyway. You see, that's what happens when you overdo it or you overwork. Where does the other person get the chance to earn that? You see, and then that leaves you feeling undervalued. That leaves you feeling, you know, under promoted or undervalued within your work. Because if you in your first year are doing what people are doing in their 10th year, well, why do I need to pay you? Why do I need to promote you? You know, you're going to do it anyway. You see that you're giving them the impression of that anyway. So this is something that you must learn deeply on a soul level that you don't have to give so much. You really don't. Okay. You are already giving by you showing up. All right. Also, healing is going to come with this energy and you being able to really activate this placement in a very harmonious manner is going to come from building routines that honor your body and your beauty and your peace in life and choosing work that like reflects your values, not just your people pleasing habits. All right. You must be someone that pleases yourself in conjunction with pleasing others. Okay. So this is what happens when you have a Venus retrograde in the sixth house or in Virgo. Okay. You also, what I'll also say, it may not even be just other people that undervalue your work and efforts. It may be you. You may be someone that undervalues your efforts or feel underappreciated in your day to day, or you will feel like you're not doing enough or you're not good enough. All right. And that may be something that you may need to learn to rewire and rework within you. Okay. There can be an over tendency to do that for yourself, or an a tendency to over refine or over critique yourself. Okay. Especially in relationships. You don't have to earn love. Simply put, you do not have to earn love in this lifetime. You don't. All right. So this is what I have for you when you have a Venus in Virgo or a Venus in the sixth house. Do be easy on yourself. Do create routines that are equally productive, but still allow you to breathe and allow you to have fun. Okay. Because that is what is being asked of you in this lifetime. And when you do that, I promise you, you will really, really work through this placement and be able to capitalize on the blessings that are here for you, because you can be quite a, you could be quite a value to your workforce. You could be quite a value to your relationships in life, but it requires you to see that value and to not be hard on yourself in the process. Okay. So that is what I have for you. I am wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance. You take care and be blessed. Bye. Let's say you have a Venus retrograde in the seventh house or in the sign of Libra. Now, remember, Libra and seventh house energy is all around your committed partnerships. So all around your relationships in life. And, Venus in general in seventh house or in Libra is quite a good sign. So generally speaking, with Venus being in Libra or Venus being in the seventh house, this is good. Relationships are good for you, but there's going to be a karmic element and a karmic thing that comes along with it when it has a retrograde attached to it. Okay. And when you have a Venus retrograde in your seventh house, it brings major karmic themes around love and relationships and committed partnerships. You may attract emotionally unavailable people. Okay. You may experience one-sided relationships where maybe you're giving all the balance and all the harmony and all the niceness, but people aren't reflecting that back to you. Okay. This is going to be a type of placement that people are going to mirror what needs to be called in you to look for in others. Okay. Because you may struggle with choosing partners who reflect, what you truly value. You'll attract people who mirror the unhealed version of you. Okay, if that makes sense. Because until you really heal your own self-worth, you will continue to attract people who will be meant to kind of push you towards self-worth and value, if that makes sense. Okay, so this is what is going to be asked of you in this lifetime, is really do try to work on your values and what you value within yourself and what you bring to the table, and stand on it. Stand on business when it comes to those things, and you will find that you don't attract people who are that way. And when I say it, listen, I want to have a little PSA very quickly. Okay, when I say attract, I feel like a lot of people, when I use the word attract, that doesn't mean that when you go outside, people come up to you and you get what you get and you start to entertain that relationship, and then you wonder why am I always attracting? When I say attract, what I mean by that is that, attraction is a two-way street. When I say attraction, you could also be someone that goes for people who you shouldn't be going for. You go for jobs, you go for partnerships, you go for people who are not giving you what you want, who are not valuing you, and you tolerate it. You see, and that would be something that would need to stop. And when I say attract, you will stop going for those people. Once you heal that part of you that may want validation from those people or want validation from this one or that one, and you really do get clear on what matters to you or what you really do seek in relationships, that is when you will stop going towards those who don't match that. Okay, so I really do want to get clear on the word attract. Attracting is a two-way street. It's not just something that because when those people do come to you, whether healed or not, right? Let's say you do heal your Venus retrograde, you're still going to get people who come up to you that want to take advantage. But when you're healed, guess what happens? You stop tolerating it. You say, no, that's not going to work for me. Thanks. Try again. See you later. Go find someone else. That's what happens. Right. So I had to have that little PSA with you super quickly. Okay. But back to the Venus retrograde thing. When you have a Venus retrograde in Libra or a Venus retrograde in The seventh house, at times with this energy, you might even resist love out of fear of losing yourself within your relationships. Okay. This could happen at times. You may also be someone who has a lot of revisitation from past life lovers or even earlier lifetime lovers. You may be someone that the exes always come back to you, but it's all to get you to get clear on what it is you want, and be clear on what it is your needs are in your relationships and standing on them and not wavering from them. Okay. But, the Venus retrograde does offer gifts because at the end of the day, it is at home in its home sign and its home house of Libra and the seventh. And the gift here is really learning how to balance your needs with others while choosing relationships that mirror the love you've already cultivated within yourself. Okay. And once you heal this, you become incredibly loyal with others. You become incredibly thoughtful and emotionally intelligent with others. Okay. And you will attract a partner who is that way as well, who's also capable of deep, long lasting, harmonious love, but only when you stop settling and start choosing with clarity and confidence within yourself. That Venus retrograde will have you out here being someone that just wants to relate with others. It just wants to be together with somebody, just to be with somebody, but that you're going to find a lot of heartbreak in that. You're going to find a lot of upset within that because the value shouldn't just be relationships. The value should be harmonious relationships. It should be relationships that work for you, that are equally mutually beneficial. That is what the motivation should be when you have a Venus retrograde in the seventh house, or just in general, in life in general. That's what the motivation should be. But when you have a Venus retrograde, it will kind of skew that in your mind initially earlier in life. Okay. So this all comes from not fully valuing your own needs in love or just in life, and that's something that you will have to learn to work through. Okay. So without further ado, I am wishing you all the best. Let me know if this resonated with you. Let me know your personal experience with the Venus retrograde in Libra or in or in the seventh house. And I will be seeing you on the next video. I'm wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance. You take care. Bye. So let's say you have a Venus retrograde in the sign of Scorpio or in the 8th house. This is going to be a very intense placement because, as we know, Scorpionic energy and 8th house energy is highly intense. It's very transformative. It holds all of the deep esoteric things and situations in life that we don't quite want to face or, confront in our lifetime. Psychologically, situationally, physically, mentally, spiritually, it's the deep, it's the dark, it's the esoteric area of life. This is the area of intimacy and trust and sex and vulnerability. And when you do have a Venus here, do know that at the end of the day, there are some great things that come out of this. Your ability to deal with this area of life will shine forward and shine through in some capacity. But when you have a Venus retrograde in the 8th house, it really does speak to karmic ties in this area of life. There could be emotional entanglements. There could also be issues around trust and power and, power dynamics between you and others, especially on a deep romantic scale or sense, or even in business, with business partnerships. And vulnerability in your relationships can be very tough for you to show or relinquish with this energy of your Venus retrograde in the 8th house or in Scorpio. Okay. With this energy, you may have a history of magnetic but emotionally draining love stories or love situations in life. With this energy, you could also fear losing control, or being truly seen for who you are on a soul level by someone else can really scare you. Now, when it comes to finances, because remember, the 8th house does tap into finances between you and others, shared resources. And so financially, you may have deep lessons around shared resources or inherited money or money that is owed to you or that you owe others. There could be a really big karmic lesson here with this energy. All right. But you are meant to become a master of your emotional depth and energetic exchange and your intimate bonds with others with this energy. Okay. And healing this signature, healing this Venus retrograde in your chart is really going to come through you owning your own power and allowing yourself to be intimate without like self-abandonment or overgiving or overextending yourself or overly protecting yourself or overly finding that the values that you have keep you from being intimately bonded with other people, because it could go through two extremes, right? On one extreme, it could be that you fear intimacy. And then on the other end, it could be that it's not that you fear intimacy, it's just that you don't want to relinquish your strong values or the power that you hold in your values. And so that is what keeps you from deeply bonding with others on a very romantic, sexual scale with this energy, okay? Really learning to this is the signature of really learning that true love doesn't require sacrifice. It requires truth and trust. I always say that trust and vulnerability is a prerequisite to relationship. It's not, if you don't have trust, if you don't have vulnerability, you don't have anything. And that is something that you are truly here to learn. So this could be quite a tough experience with this Venus retrograde, but do know that there are superpowers in it, okay? You are meant to become someone that is quite masterful in your ability to deeply merge with others, and may even be someone who's able to get money from people quite easily, but there are karmic lessons within that just the same, okay? So let me know if this resonates with you in the comments below. Let me know your personal experience. Do you feel that love is intense for you or secretive for you, or that they're always tied to power struggles, or that you fear vulnerability or giving up control? Let me know in the comments below, because there is a deep karmic pull to relationships that transform you and test you with this kind of Venus retrograde placement in the 8th house or in Scorpio. But you are really here to learn that true intimacy and wealth come when you heal trust wounds and let yourself be seen emotionally and spiritually. So let me know if this is you, all right? And I'm wishing you all the best and much prosperity and abundance with this placement, okay? You take care, and I will see you on the next video. Bye. Let's say you have a Sagittarius Venus retrograde, or Venus retrograde in the 9th house, okay? As we know, the 9th house in Sagittarian energy is all around expansion and abundance, your belief systems, your higher education, sometimes even the father. And, with this Venus retrograde here, with this placement here, it shows that your values and your love language may differ from cultural or religious, or even your family's expectations of you. You may have very different beliefs or different needs and wants that you crave out of your educational pursuits, or out of the knowledge that you hold or possess within you. They may be seen as quite different, or they will be quite different, even though you are quite good and that you excel within your educational and spiritual pursuits. You would be someone that, because they are different, you struggle to find the value, or you may struggle to find harmony with others due to those particular special, unique belief systems that you have. You might even feel like love or money has always required leaving something behind, whether it be a country or a belief systems or even a comfort zone with this energy, okay? But do know, with the Venus retrograde in Sagittarius or in the 9th house, you're here to reclaim your right to joy and beauty and abundance without apology, all right? Because for you, there may be a guilt around pleasure, or an internal conflict between freedom and devotion, right? You may, especially earlier in life, may have found that, okay, I'm going to believe what the family believes, but that may have felt so stifling on a soul level to you, and that is something that you are here to learn to step into your power from, because you could be someone that through this, you could be making money, connections, you could expand your life through you being someone who expresses the things that you know and chases your dreams with sheer optimism and faith with this energy, okay? And be able to land on target, or get that thing, that dream, that goal that you've been wanting in life through you actually chasing it and going after it, or pursuing it, all right? I will say, with the Venus retrograde in Sagittarius or in the 9th house, you probably really thrive in relationships and ventures that involve traveling or higher learning, education, publishing, writing, teaching, sometimes even law is baked into the Sagittarian and 9th house energy. And you will excel in these things, or thrive in these relationships, especially when your beliefs and creativity align with that other person, or when they align with the organization that you are in. Alignment is key with this energy, okay? So learn to trust your own philosophies around love, around money, around truth, especially your own personal truth, all right? Because it is really meant to evolve and liberate you with this energy, okay? So that is what I really do want to say about this placement. Let me know if this is your experience or if you have a similar experience to this energy. Let me know, if you've ever felt like love doesn't align with your beliefs or your background or your worldview, especially the love that you crave or the things that you want. Like you may have felt like, okay, my truth doesn't relate with where I come from or the background that I'm from or my father's beliefs. You can feel like that. Let me know, okay? Because like I said, with this energy, there could be a history of long distance or intercultural or even teacher-student relationships can come out with this energy, okay? But you are really here to redefine love beyond traditions or, what the family wants of you. Your relationships expand your soul, especially when it's rooted in truth and alignment for you, all right? And freedom and growth. Okay, so really do try to align to this, okay? And let me know in the comments below if this is you and if this feels like you or what your particular unique experience is that you found with this Venus retrograde in Sagittarius. And I do want to say that even beyond this, although this may be the internal plight that you go through with your Venus retrograde, at the end of the day, you still have a Venus in your 9th house and a Venus in Sagittarius, which shows that great blessings do come to your life through education, through travel, through mingling with different cultures, through expressing your knowledge, through writing, and through standing in your truth. So it's a personal plight, the things that I've just expressed, but do know that the people around you really do see just how beautiful you are when you express your truth, just how gracious you are when you are amongst different cultures and when you are traveling and expanding in life. Okay, so fall back on that. When in doubt, fall back on the fact that it's just something that you have to work through to show towards the world, but it's already in you. It's already on you, okay? And expand, get out there, discover the world, because that is where a lot of love, blessings, grace, and abundance is going to be there for you, okay? So without further ado, I'm wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance. You take care and be blessed. Bye. Let's say you have a Venus retrograde in the sign of Capricorn or in the 10th house. Now, this is going to be a heavy type of energy because we are working with Saturnian energy. Anything that has to do with Capricorn or the 10th house carries a Saturnian type of signature towards it. And so this is going to be something that merges with your natal Venus retrograde. And so with this placement, you may feel in your life, you may feel very undervalued in your public life or in your career life, or as though love and ambition have always clashed. Maybe you have to choose between romance and your ambitions. You may have felt like that at times. You may have not been able to merge the two or have two be something that you are able to enjoy at the same time. All right. You may have felt like you had to choose between being successful or being loved, right? Now, earlier in life with the Venus retrograde, you may have not received recognition or affirmation for your efforts or for the things that you do in life, causing you to really question whether you're good enough in life or to be seen or to lead others, even though you innately have those qualities. But do know that when you have a Venus retrograde in Capricorn and in the 10th house, your soul came here to heal that narrative, okay? And claim your rightful place in the spotlight and in authoritative positions, in managerial positions. And it requires you to first just trust in yourself that you are doing the right thing, that you are on the right path, that you are being a hard worker and you are someone that is worthy of leadership and success really as well. Even if it's not leadership, it's success. You are worthy of that success. Even if no one is patting you on the back, do know that that is coming. But first, it starts with you. Everything with Venus retrograde turns the love and the grace inward first before you get the outward influence of it as a result. So it starts with you. And so as you build self-trust, and you'll naturally attract wealth and admiration through a career, especially one that reflects both your beauty and your integrity. You're meant to be adored with this placement. You really are. You're meant to be seen for who you truly are, not who you think you have to be. And that's also the really biggest secret here with this energy. Okay. So let me know if this sounds like you. Do you feel like it is, although you are doing great things in your career, you may not get that promotion at the time that you wanted, or you may feel like love is something that is hard for you to access because for you may even feel a little bit married to your career. And even though you're married to your career, you aren't, even in the career, you may find that the authority figures don't give you that recognition or those accolades in which you feel you deserve. Okay. Let me know if that is you. All right. You may also, when you have a Venus retrograde in this position, love may also get entangled with status or reputation or image or your career choices. Okay. You may be someone that only wants to date this type of person who works at that type of job, or you may feel that that is the pressure put on you, right? You may not feel deserving of love unless you have that public image or that job or that position at work with this energy. And that's something that you're going to have to heal, okay? Because healing with this energy is going to come when you choose visibility and success that reflect your real values, not just social validation or social approval from others. Remember, everything with Venus retrograde turns the love inward first. It has to, you have to start with you. You have to validate you. You have to congratulate you. You have to look in the mirror and say, you are doing a damn good job, and keep going. And I promise you, the more you do that, the more you will then start to actually get the outward approval. Because remember, at the end of the day, when you have a Venus in your 10th house, I don't care if it's in retrograde, in retrograde, I don't care what it's in. At the end of the day, you still have a Venus in Capricorn, and you still have a Venus in the 10th house, which is highly, such a good blessing. You will find that people admire you from afar. You will find that you are someone who has an incredible work ethic, and you are able to, become quite successful overnight with this energy. But when it's retrograde, do know that it starts with you first. You have to kind of pat yourself on the back first, validate yourself, and go forth and prosper. And you will find that the universe starts to respond to that Venus in the 10th. It starts to respond to that Venus in Capricorn like it would for anyone else who had a Venus that isn't retrograde, okay? So that is what I have for you when you have a Venus retrograde in the 10th or Venus retrograde in Capricorn, all right? I'm wishing you all the best. Let me know if this resonates with you, and I will see you on the next video. Take care. Bye. Let's say you have a Venus retrograde in the 11th house or in the sign of Aquarius, okay? This is going to be a very unique and futuristic type of energy, because when you have this placement in a very futuristic house, this placement may bring feelings of like being an outsider or a weirdo or someone who is strange, especially in social settings. All right. You may feel with this placement that you struggle to fit in, or you may feel overlooked within your friendships or the group dynamics that you have in life, especially amongst organizations or your jobs or cliques or groups. There may be some conflict there. Okay. And you may also feel that in order to fit in, sometimes that you have to give, or you have to serve, or you have to help, or you have to do something in order to be liked or in order to be appreciated amongst those groups or amongst those friendships. All right. You may even feel like, or you may have even experienced romantic connections could start out as friendships or feel distant or unconventional or a little strange. It's hard for you to put your finger on your romantic love life, because it could be something that you are always attracting kind of unexpected situations or very unique, unconventional situations or aloof characters with this energy. Okay. But do know with this energy, you are here to attract a soul tribe that values your uniqueness and not just your contributions. Okay. Because like I said, in the beginning of deciphering this, is that for you, you may feel like it's your contribution that is getting you to be liked, but really you are here to be valued based on your uniqueness and who you are, not just on what you're giving. All right. Now, when it comes to finances, because Venus retrograde and just Venus in general does carry a financial and monetary signature with this energy. Financially, you may do really well on online ventures or collaborative efforts or humanitarian, initiatives with this energy, or community efforts, especially once you own your individuality. It's quite ironic with this placement that all it is in a placement where you are meant to kind of find validation and blessings through community. You are first meant to, in your own heart of hearts, in your own soul, validate your own uniqueness and who you are first, and having that be your motivator. Because when you start to do that, that is actually when you find more harmony with the group, with the organizations, with the community efforts within what you are meant to do. Okay. And so as you heal this, and as you really do meditate on this and turn this over in your soul, this is going to be something that allows you to become quite magnetic. It It allows you to be someone who's able to attain your dreams. You are able to become a great community builder or a leader within your community with a strong heart-centered message or a heart-centered initiative with this energy. But first, it starts with you. First, you must look inside and say, you know what? I'm incredibly unique. I don't want to do this initiative. I don't want to just do this to be liked. I want to do the thing that sets my soul on fire, okay? That I am gifted to do. And you will find that in you kind of walking alone just a little bit and going off and starting something new or being quite innovative and owning your own uniqueness and following and following the beat to your own drum. You will then find that is when people want to follow you. That is when people want to be your friend. That is when people want to tag along and help you with the initiative that you're building. You see, because first you said, you know what? I don't need the group to validate me. I validate me, and I'm going to go start something on my own. I'm going to go do this thing on my own. And when you do that, that is when, like wildfire, you begin to use your Venus in Aquarius. You begin to use your Venus in the 11th house. Okay, so let me know if this is you. Let me know if this resonates with you. Let me know if you feel out of sync within your group settings or undervalued within your friendships or overlooked within the group dynamics in life, all right? Let me know if within love, there's more of a platonic and unconventional vibe with this energy, okay? Or an uncertainty at times when it comes to love, or a confusion element within the suitors and the people that you attract within your Venus retrograde, okay? Let me know if this is you, because remember, you are here to attract a soul-aligned community and partners by being radically different and authentic and by letting go of people-pleasing. You're not here to do that. And I know it's kind of a catch-22, because on one hand, with that Venus in Aquarius, you want to please the community. You want to please the group. You want to please the friends. But first, you must please yourself. And in you pleasing yourself, that is when you actually find harmony with the group, with the friends, with the collective, okay? So, without further ado, I am wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance. Let's say you have Venus in the 12th house or in the sign of Pisces. Venus retrograde here is going to be a highly karmic type of position, okay? But it's not one that is impossible to work through or to get the good benefits out of, okay? So let's put that cap on first. Before we go any further, let's just get into that mind frame that this is not a curse. This is not a setback. This is just something that you must learn to work with and learn how to navigate. That's all it is, okay? And so when you have a Venus retrograde here in Pisces or in the 12th house, you may carry past life wounds around love, betrayal, or abandonment. And this can also show up as like confusion, isolation, or longing in relationships from a past life, or just in general. You know, you could be at home dreaming about love, dreaming about relationships, but you're never actually out there physically searching for them, actually physically putting yourself out there for them. And that could be the first area where you could be going wrong. You see, it could be in you constantly dreaming about these relationships rather than actually out there pursuing them. All right. And so you might fall for people who are unavailable or keep love hidden or a secret with this energy. And there's also a tendency to put others on like a pedestal or forget your own needs in the process. You could be quite self-sacrificial within love in your need to find love or have some type of tangible love connection. You may, sacrifice your own needs. And so the way that you're going to be able to work through this energy and the way that you're going to heal this Venus retrograde so that it is able to give you the benefits that are here, that Venus does offer, is going to come when you retreat into solitude and like reconnect with your heart. All right. Practice self-forgiveness and cultivate a spiritual self-love for yourself and your connection to the divine. All right. Your most powerful love is going to come not from chasing or proving, but from allowing someone to meet you in your full truth and your vulnerability in life. And also learning a little bit how to kind of trust in the universe a little bit more, because fantasy is just you making up for the fact that you may not trust. You see, that's all it is. You dreaming about these partners and these suitors is the mind's way of you kind of like not fully trusting, if that makes sense. Okay, so fully trust, put yourself out there, go for people who show you that they like you and that they want you, and do know and learn the lesson that love is not equivalent to sacrifice. That is something that you're also here to learn, okay? You don't have to fall on the sword in order to show someone that you love them, okay? Because you could have quite broken bird syndrome, or you could be someone that fantasizes a lot about love without actually being quite practical about it, okay? So let me know if this is you. Do you feel like there's a lot of past life lovers that pop up? Do you have a past life lover or a lover that you had earlier in your life that you can't let go of or that you always dream about? Do you have hidden desires within you that you don't express or act upon? Or do you have unspoken pain around relationships that you don't confront? Let me know if this is you, okay? Are you also someone that likes to keep your love life private or struggle with feeling worthy of unconditional love for you just being you? Not what you do for someone, not what you are offering to someone, but just for who you are. Do you struggle with that? Do you struggle with that understanding? Okay, because like I said before, working through and navigating this Venus retrograde is going to come through solitude and introspection and spiritual practices and dream work, and learning that real love does not require self-abandonment or self-sacrifice. Okay, and when you learn that, that is when you will find love. That is when you will be able to have real, tangible love that is not karmic and, and by karmic in this sense, I do mean karmic in the, bad way, in the way that feels unattainable or always is a struggle. Okay, because for you, when you do have a Venus in Pisces or a Venus in 12th house, love is always going to be karmic, but healthy. There is potential for healthy karmic love as well, not just the ones that are always there to teach you something, okay? So do be sure to trust a little bit more, have faith, but also at the same time, be someone that really formulates a new understanding around what love is for you. It doesn't always have to be hidden. It doesn't always have to be painful. It doesn't always have to be secretive, all right? You are worthy of real love, all right? And that is the true lesson you are here to learn, real love. Okay, not just the one you fantasize about or that you hope for. Okay, because in your hoping, it could put you in situations where you tolerate what is being given, where you tolerate what is in front of you. Okay, so do be sure to work through that. All right, and I mean that with the utmost love and understanding. Okay, so without further ado, let me know if this is you. I am wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance. You take care and be blessed. Bye.